With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
So the expected is now official.
Welcome back, everybody, to the newest episode of Titans Tube. I am Justin, your host, and with me is fellow host Jake. And it's football season again, buddy. It is football season again.
Unbelievable.
We're a few days away from week one of the Titans. I think we do actually get football tomorrow. This is being recorded on a Wednesday. And so we have a Thursday night football and a Friday game. We got football coming up just around the corner, Jake. So we're here to break it down, just discuss it with this new Titans era coming in week one in the matchup we have in Denver. But first, Jake, welcome back. How's your summer been? It's been an off season. I know you've had a big off season, Jake.
Yes.
So, how's it going,
That
man?
I have. I've added some hardware, Justin, to the trophy case.
Is that a Super Bowl ring?
Yeah. Hopefully it is a thing of a vision of things to come. Yes. I got married to my lovely wife this off season. It's been a busy summer. Apologies for not keeping up on, the worst team in the NFL's off season, but I was busy doing other things all summer long, and as was Justin. But it's been great, man. It's been a great summer. It's gone by in a flash. I don't know what your guys' weather down there is, but up here in Ohio, the weather has even turned to what we call fake fall. And, the temperatures are crisp in the morning, and you get your coffee, and we just had our first college football Saturday, and the windows are open, and the fall breeze is coming through. Some leaves are rustling. Justin, I can't believe we are back to football season again. It makes me giddy. I talk about the autumn wind and just everything that goes along with it. It feels like more of a new year to me than January 1st does. And, sometimes you can, I feel like we're one and the same in this. We can tell each other the year of the Titans season, but like when you think about a memory that isn't the Titans, you don't know what year it's from. So it's unbelievable how, football fans' brains work, but I can't believe the summer's gone by. And here we are again, week one, just around the corner, as you said.
Here we are again, man. And there's a lot to talk about, a lot to look forward to. I know we are finished as the worst team in the NFL, but I don't know. We could be in for an interesting season, Jake. If we want to talk about it kind of generally going into it as a whole, if you have any expectations, and Brian, not Bill, Brian Callahan being our head coach, dude, and what is the future there? A lot of eyes are going to be on him. What is he going to do with this roster? Cam Ward, new face of the franchise, Jake. Can we finally have a franchise quarterback, a quarterback that will be here for years to come and to lead this football team? I liked what I saw in the preseason, to be honest with you. I mean, I saw a quarterback that was calm and poised and had a strong arm back there. I'll throw it to you, Jake, going back to Callahan. What do you kind of think Callahan needs to do to really keep his job? I mean, we're a team that won 3 games last year. I mean, does he need to double his win total? Do we need to win 6 games? Do we need to make the playoffs? Is it a number that you're looking for, a result? Or I don't know. What do you want to see from Callahan this year?
I'm so happy you asked, Justin. That's literally what I have written down in my little notepad here. Going back to last season, how we felt going into it. Sometimes you have to look backwards to understand where you are right in the present moment. We went into last season with a new quarterback, new head coach, same situation, and we fell for the propaganda, and we fell for the tricks of the off-season hype train. And you can go back to our season preview last year, and we're talking ourselves into this team can go 9-8. This team can go 10-7 if the ball bounces our way, and we could make the playoffs. We were way off, Justin. We were so far off that it was unbelievable how wrong we were. So the first question I have is, should we fall for the propaganda? Because I'm seeing it, Justin. I'm seeing it. Oh, the AFC South is not very good. The Titans could fall into 7, 8, dare I say, have a winning record at 9 wins. No, Justin, I don't think we're there. But to go to your question, how many games does Ryan Callahan need to win? And I'm going to put the number at 6, Justin. He needs to double his win total. And you need to see growth. You need to see this football team be ready for games. I mean, we were pantsed week after week after week and looked unprepared week after week and undisciplined week after week under Brian Callahan last year. And people use the phrase in over his head, just unprepared for the moment of being an NFL head coach. And I have to agree with them. This was a terrible, undisciplined, poorly coached football team, which was a far cry coming from an incredibly well-coached football team under Mike Vrabel. So last season was just grasping at straws for any kind of semblance of a competitive, ready-to-play football team. And that's what we need to see from the Titans. Cam Ward is going to struggle. We're going to see Cam Ward make boneheaded throws. We're going to see the Titans not be very good at times. But they need to be better. You think back to last season, there were certain moments, Justin, in certain football games where the Titans could have won 6 games last year. As bad as they were, they could have won 6. You think about the Bears game, week 1, Will Levis literally gives it away. You think about week 2 against the New York Jets, where Will Levis literally gives it away. There's 2 games right there. There was a Colts game that was very close down to the wire where, you just eliminate minor mistakes, penalties, turnovers, the things that get you beat, to quote Mike Vrabel, dumb shit that gets you beat. And you find 6 wins in this schedule, Justin. I think truly this team can go 6-11. I think they can go 7-10. And again, if the ball bounces their way, sure, 8-9 even. If Cam Ward plays really well, if they win those close games, if they look well coached and they're prepared, I don't see why 8-9 isn't on the table. But make the playoffs, I think, is a far cry. I think competing in the division is still a far cry. I think Houston's the team to beat, as Indianapolis is starting Daniel Jones. And what are the Jaguars? Is Trevor Lawrence ever going to come around and show why he was the number 1 pick? It's an interesting division, to say the least. And I think, I see why fans are talking themselves into being competitive, but I'm just not quite there because I think the roster is far away, Justin. And I'm not, like you said, you led with it. You didn't even lead with Cam Ward. Brian Callahan. Does he have what it takes? And right now, I cautiously say maybe, but he's got a big hole to dig himself out of.
Yeah, he does. And, for me, he doesn't really pass the eye test, like literally watching him coach on the sidelines. Like, I know not all successful coaches are like this, but I like the Vrabel mold where you see him talking to players on the bench, coaching them up. He's getting in some players' ear, and he's, seems like he has a feel for the game, a flow for the game. And I just don't see that from Callahan a lot. He's not coaching up, his guys, he's probably in the quarterback's ear a lot, or, he's the play caller too. So a lot of times he's just thinking about the next play. But yeah, I want to see a coach from him. I want to see a guy with more feel for the game. You got a guy that you've got to go away from the game plan a lot of the times. Honestly, over half the time, the game's not going to go according to game plan. You got to go off script. Teams are going to adjust to what you're doing, and you've got to be able to adjust to their adjustments. I feel like we were saying that, or a couple of years ago, maybe me and Caleb had said that a lot. And it feels like once a team made an adjustment to what the Titans were doing, we had no answer, and we were just lost for the rest of the game. So in that aspect, yeah. And I like what you said about looking like a team that's prepared to play a game on Sunday and eliminating penalties and just looking competitive, looking like they are geared up to play a football game and to go out and expect to win a football game. And I think that mentality obviously comes back to the head coach. And that's obviously a coach's job, is to have your players ready to play and to play disciplined football. And yeah, we were neither of those things last year. So yeah, you can put a number on it. I like 6 games. In my head, I actually had 7. I want him to get more than double. And like you said, we can look at the schedule Jags twice, Colts
Yeah.
twice. Houston's a tough one. And then we got some games out of conference. We got the Browns. We got the Raiders. We can.
New Orleans, there's
Oh
winnable
yeah,
games here.
I didn't. Okay, I forgot we even played them. But even better, there's winnable games on the schedule, and you can, like you said, you can find wins. You can find 7 wins, possibly 8 wins. Maybe we pull a win out of our butt against a really good team. Cam Ward play some hero ball or something like that. Because we don't have a very talented team, Jay. I mean, that's the thing. But as long as we play disciplined football and eliminate penalties and look ready to play, that tells me that Callahan is doing good things, and the roster will get better with years to come. So
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. And also, that's a good transition to kind of the second part of this video, Justin. Titans that we are high on coming into this season. You said it yourself. I mean, I feel like I've said it. We're not very good on paper. This roster isn't very good. We're going to see them struggle at times. And so I want to go back and forth in a fantasy draft style order. I want you to pick 3 players that you're particularly optimistic about, excited to watch, think that they could come into their own on this Titans squad in the year 2025. I'm going to defer to you for the first pick.
Okay. I've got 2, maybe a little more obvious ones. Not Cam Ward. I think, if that's one of yours, Jake, I think that's a little.
You can only pick one, Justin. You can pick one.
Okay. First, I'm excited. I've got high hopes for Calvin Ridley. He was good for us last year, and I think he's coming into the season looking really good. I mean, you've seen the practice film, you've seen the preseason. He's already developing chemistry with Cam Ward, and dude, he needs to be that guy for us this year, and that'll just be so much better for Cam Ward's development. So I'm coming in with some pretty high expectations. Ridley's a receiver that he can get open. I mean, the way he cuts, the way he runs, he can get to a spot and get open. And, especially on a scramble play, whatever that bailing out your quarterback, he is absolutely that player. And we're going to need him to do a lot of that this year. Secondly, I am high on T'Vondre Sweat coming into year 2. I think he's going to be a big player, impact player for us. And I'm very interested to see the defensive line as a whole. It'll help with Big Jeff coming in healthy. We brought in Draymond Jones from Seattle. It seemed to be a pretty productive, nice player that we're bringing in. And then we've got Arden Key. I don't know what you say about him. He's fine. He's fine. And then you got the Olemwafu. I'm not going to try to say his name, but our second round draft pick. So I think we got a lot of new pieces around here. But I'm excited to see Sweat, with a year under his belt, second season. I think he had a strong rookie season. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he could be a big impact player for us, and we need him to be big because I think the defensive line, him and Simmons together, might be the better part of this defense that we have. So they need to lead the way on the defensive front. And then lastly, I'm going to go a little, maybe under the radar, a mid-late draft pick. I'm kind of looking forward to some Gunnar Helm action, dude. I was won over.
That's what I had.
That's all I needed to see was that one play in the preseason where he caught a big-time contested catch from Brandon Allen, but still, like he looked like we need a big playmaking receiving tight end like that, and it would be so helpful to have another weapon come along really quick for Ward. Because I got to be honest, I'm not very high on Jefferson. I'm not very high, even though I like him. I think Tyler Lockett can be that reliable, security blanket. But he's older. He's lost a step or two. He's past his prime. We need some young guns, if you will, to come in and be able to make an impact right away. And I think Gunnar Helm can shine. He was productive at Texas, and then it had a strong preseason showing, I thought. So I'm going to go with Gunnar Helm here. So those are my 3.
That was a good set of 3, Justin. You totally ignored the fantasy draft rules, but that's okay because Gunnar Helm was the only one I had written down. I thought Calvin Ridley was going to be a popular pick as well, so that's okay. I've got a good list here. That's okay.
I break the rules,
and it was a great breakdown. And those were 3 great picks. I agree with all of your picks. Obviously, Calvin Ridley had 1,000-yard receiver on a very, very bad football team, Justin, with a very bad quarterback. So I'm totally with you there. He needs to take that leap to be really very elite if Cam Ward's progression is going to come along. And then my first pick, Justin, is going to be defensive. It's going to be Cody Barton, the linebacker we picked up from Denver. Got Denver week 1, obviously. But he is going to be that green dot leader, veteran that I feel like we were looking for last season. We mentioned, last season when we were talking, where are the Brian Arakpos? Where are the Delaney Walkers? Where are the veterans that are going to bring this team along that's going to lead the locker room, be those guys? I think Cody Barton is going to be a very important leader for this defense and football team. Hopefully he can shine. That adds to some production, because certainly I think in training camp and early in the season here, he's definitely made his mark as one of the leader veterans on this team. My second, Justin, is also going to be defense. I'm going with Jarvis Brownlee Jr. This dude had that, get in your face, F you corner attitude that you need in a stud cornerback. And I think he's only going to get better. I think, he's going to get some 15-yard penalties. He's going to have that Cortland Finnegan-esque head scratching sometimes. But I think he could really flourish into being a good cover corner for this team. He's got a lot of confidence, a lot of swagger, and it's going to, much like Cody Barton, be kind of a leader, alpha dog energy that we need it so bad, Justin. We need leaders on this football team because we were completely devoid of them last season. So I've got Cody Barton, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., and Justin, I'm going to go on offense here. Another rookie, Alec Ayomanor. I am going to get that pronunciation better and better as the season goes on, because I think he's going to play a role. He was even listed above Van Jefferson in the first depth chart that came out for week 1. He looks steady. He's going to be that you kind of mentioned Tyler Lockett, but I feel like the steady Eddie presence, pick up the chains, possession catch, get first downs, security blanket kind of guy for Cam Ward. I'm hoping that, his good training camp and his good preseason can translate into the regular season as well. So those are my 3, Justin. I have 2 honorable mentions, if you will. Obviously, you said Cam Ward was cheating. I had Cam Ward. I felt like that was kind of the obvious pick. Obviously, every Titans fan is excited to watch Cam Ward and is high on Cam Ward.
I'll allow
but
it.
I'm going to give an extra shout out to the offensive line as a whole, as a unit. You feel like the Titans did some good things to fill gaps here. You have Bill Callahan, obviously, the lauded offensive line coach, obviously didn't put it together last year. But Justin, I don't think, if he's working with high school grade offensive linemen, you can have anybody you want coaching them. It's not going to come together. So J.C. Latham going to his natural spot. Dan Moore, overpay, ? But please, anybody come on down to try and be better. So that's a fresh face there. You're going to get Cushenberry back at center. Skoronski's coming along as a young piece. And then Zeitler from the Lions is a good another that I know he's older than Ben Jones was, but there's your offensive line veteran who can help lead this team. We're looking for those guys so badly. And I'm so happy I've drawn back to that talking point from last season, because that is going to be the difference, Justin, between going 3 or 4 wins again and those 7 or 8 high marks that we're drawing on the board. I think that's going to be the real difference there. So I'm hoping that this offensive line can come together. I know they're not going to be world beaters. I know they're not going to be Detroit. I know they're not going to be, Philadelphia, but anything, we're looking for some progression from this offensive line. So I am cautiously optimistic on the offensive line as well. I don't know if you agree with that, but please, God.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned them, because I was looking for players, who do I want to look for? Like, you want to say, like, I'm looking forward to this offensive lineman, but really it is a collective as a whole, because like you said, I just could reiterate everything you said. Moving Latham to the natural spot, getting Cushenberry back, bringing in the veteran from Detroit, Skoronsky, high pick. And I don't know if it's just me. This is the feeling I get that Skoronsky is quietly getting better. It felt like he was kind of slow coming out of the gates his first rookie season. I think bringing in Cushenberry helped him. And so hopefully if Dan Moore on the left side can be a big upgrade, that's only going to help him progress more. So good shout out. This will be a very interesting thing to see the offensive line and how they perform as opposed to last year, moving people around, getting Cushenberry back from injury. So good shout out on that, Jake. So exciting to see what we're in for. But man, can we just put some perspective on week 1 and not overreacting, because it's gonna be tough, dude. Coming out for Cam Ward, first game of the season, he has to go to Denver and play a team that is coming up on the rise, riding some great momentum from last season, with Bo Nix out there playing a lot better, than I thought he would. I did not, I watched him in college, and I thought he was going to be one of those guys that maybe could be a serviceable, backup in the league, but he very much surprised and impressed me. But of course the story with Denver is they have a great defense. They finished number 3 last year in points allowed. So it's going to be tough sledding for this Titans team to get some momentum in Denver. However it goes, this could be hopefully a great learning opportunity for Cam Ward going up against a good, legit NFL defense. So I don't know. I'll toss it to you, Jake. Tough week 1. How do you see it playing out?
7.5 point underdogs as it stands right now, Justin. And you know what? It's kind of a precursor to my pick. But give me the Titans and the points, Justin. It is week 1. These are all brand new football teams. I'm not saying the Titans are going to win. I'm saying they're going to cover. I'm going to say they're going to lose by a touchdown. And here's why. Because week 1, you said it, no overreactions. There's no, I'm sure we'll be on this time next week, overreacting, especially if Cam Ward does really well and the Titans win. But no overreactions. Yes. And these are all brand new football teams coming out of the gate. You saw it, in the college sphere week 1. Games are clunky, Yeah. Arch Manning was supposed to set the world on fire, and he looked like he was in hell, Justin. Games are clunky with brand new teams. You're rolling out the ball. I know it's Sean Payton, steady head coach, Bo Nix, second-year QB. I get that. I know the chips are stacked against us, especially as a brand new football team coming into this season with a brand new quarterback. I just see some week 1 weirdness happening, Justin, and I see the Titans keeping this thing competitive. I think the defense has a better day than we're expecting them to. I think it's going to be kind of a slugfest. I could see what I'm picturing is a 20-13 Denver win where, Cam Ward has one really good drive, looks good, but then obviously the Denver defense is going to clamp down and it'll be a struggle. We'll get 2 field goals out of the rest of the game, and there's your 20-13 final. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. This is the 3rd time I've used the phrase, but cautiously optimistic. And I just hope that we can come out and show we're ready to play, show a little progression from a football team and coaching and preparedness standpoint. And I don't see why we can't be competitive in this game. I know it's a rough environment, altitude, mile high. Denver has great fans. I believe in Cam Ward's confident, low-key swagger about him. I'm confident in the veterans that we've added to bring some semblance of leadership to this squad. And you led with it, just in the video. It rests on Brian Callahan this year. As much as I don't want to start over again, you can go back to the videos last year. I do not like Brian Callahan. I don't really believe in him as the leader of this football team. I want so desperately for him to prove me wrong, especially with his retooled offensive line, his shiny new quarterback, that you took number 1 overall. We need to see some growth. We need to see some, potential from this football team, because there was no potential last year. They were a bad football team with zero potential. They were rudderless, directionless, going nowhere, no identity. That is
That's
what I
it.
need
Yeah.
from the football team this year is identity,
Yeah.
is direction, is any kind of idea of where we're going. And that's what Brian
Yeah.
Callahan needs to do to keep his job. So as much as it pains me to pick against the Titans week 1, Justin, give me Denver, but only by 7 points.
Only by
Pick the
7.
Titans plus 7.5. Go to the sports book. Get it now. Your friend Jake sent you.
Your friend Jake. Yeah, you're picking the Titans in a way, in a Vegas odds, way, a spread way, which is fine. That's perfectly fine for the purposes of this channel. Jake, that was great. I think we could just end the video now. I think you perfectly summed up everything, and I'm so glad you said the word identity because I was getting ready to scream that as you were talking. Yes, this team needs identity. It needs some kind of a direction. I just reiterating all the words you said. I think you said it perfectly. I even agree with your take on how you think the game is going to go, and it's for sure going to play into the Titans' favor if we can make this a slugfest. I think one of the biggest things, specific matchup wise, is going to be finding a way, whether it's Jarvis Brownlee Jr. or Sneed, if he's going to be available. He's such an unknown. If we had an awesome shutdown corner, L'Jarius Sneed, out there for this football team, who I don't think anybody's expecting at this point, that would be extremely helpful.
That'd be huge.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with him, but whoever is going to be covering Cortland Sutton, I mean, he's the big play, big-bodied receiver who honestly could be a matchup problem for Jarvis Brownlee, who's 5 whatever. I mean, he's a short-statured guy. If we can somehow take away that big play passing game to him, I don't really know. I mean, I should have looked at Denver's depth chart. Marvin Mims Jr., I mean, no one seems to jump out at me just thinking about their offense. So if we can make them kind of one-dimensional, I think we can keep this thing low scoring and maybe give ourselves a chance in the second half. Maybe 13 points is enough points to win football games. I mean, let's bring it back to the year 2000 when the Titans were winning points or games by 3 points, putting up 13 all the time. So it'll be interesting. And like you said, week 1, it's going to be grimy. It's going to be unpolished football. It's going to be, kind of a slugfest. And I think, that could play into our favor. So, I like a low scoring game and the Titans to keep it close as well, even if they don't win. But even if it is, dude, I have missed some boring, slugfest, ugly Titans football. I'm pretty excited to see it again, and I'm glad it's back. And it's going to make me want to pull my hair out more, and I would rather have that than to have no football at all. So that's where I am.
You said it best, man. I mean, as bad as it was, I mean, truthfully, as Titans fans, we can attest to this, Justin. In our lives, we've seen some very, very bad football, very horrendous, vomit-inducing, hair-pulling. I would rather be anywhere else on a Sunday football.
Yep.
I don't think we're getting that this year. I think we need to keep Cam Ward upright, and we are going to come into every game with at least some semblance of optimism, with some semblance of, okay, we have something to watch today. We have something to grow on. We have something to progress as a football team. We have an identity to forge around, Justin, that I word that we're going to be using over and over and over, I'm sure, with this football team. We have to forge an identity, and I think this year we're at least going to have some semblance of direction, some semblance of identity. Hopefully it could be tough, physical Titans football like Brian Callahan promises, even though himself probably got shoved in a locker a lot of times in school. I mean, we just have to forge that identity. And I think this year is going to be better, Justin. Tighten up. We're looking forward to the football season. Get your cup of coffee on Sunday morning, even though it's the afternoon slot. Enjoy the 1 o'clock games with all your might, because it could be ugly come 4 o'clock, but it doesn't matter. We are going to be tuned in, ready to go in two-tone blue, and ready to watch this football team go to work in 2025. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank y'all for tuning in to yet another season of Titans Tube. Honestly, are Titans fans the best fans in the league for enduring the suffering and pain and agony and misery? And here we are on a Zoom call saying, sign me up, baby. I can't wait to get to 7 wins this year. Let's go.
Yeah.
Tighten up. Thank you all for watching. We will see you in the next one.